in our curriculum on LOCS, right? It doesn't mean that we are all about creating leaders, right? Someone asked me, so you're creating leaders, so they're not followers, right? So that's a problem. No, that's not the problem. The problem is we are trying to teach them how to deal with these four big aspects of being an entrepreneur. They can use these skills wherever they go, and that's whole part of the LOCS curriculum, right? And then we wrap all these things in very exciting, immersive experiences or experiential components. And I'll give you a rundown of what these experiential components are. But broadly, this is the, let's say, the structure of the curriculum through which we want to take you through at Voxen. Now then you'll ask me a question. Sure, I mean, eventually this is all, every business school does it. Many of them are part of other business schools as well. So why is this special? Why is it that we are claiming that this is a place where we create entrepreneurs, right? So what we have done is something phenomenally different compared to any other business school. We have created something called as the Voxen Trade Tower, right? So the Trade Tower is a very interesting concept. It has basically 5 levels. You can imagine a building with 5 levels, or you can imagine a process, with 5 different stages. Basically, every single thing that you learn in the classroom, right, you will try out in the Trade Tower. So in one sense, even though I hate using that term, the Trade Tower is like an incubation center, right? You go at the base level, you have an idea, right? But then you don't know whether the idea is good or bad, right? And you want to develop it into a company. You enter the Trade Tower, and then you go through multiple levels. In level 1, you do X, Y, and Z. Level 2, you do X, Y, and Z. Level 3, and then finally, by the time you reach the 5th level of the Trade Tower, we actually have something called as the Voxen Fund. This is a venture capital fund, and if we believe, you can pitch your ideas there, you can pitch your business plans there, and if you believe, and if we believe that this is a business plan that has serious legs and can turn into a real company, Voxen Fund will actually invest in your company, right? So now imagine this system where you come in with the idea, right, or you come in with the passion, but then you also find people who have ideas. It's all about networking, right? And then you are brought together by the curriculum, you're brought together by the campus, we train you in some of the basic competencies that are needed to become an entrepreneur. And then you go through these different levels where you refine your idea, you talk to different people and get feedback on it, and eventually get funding, right? And go out with a solid company that has been incorporated, right? So it's basically an ecosystem. It's basically an end-to-end solution of becoming an entrepreneur. Every single impediment that you have always thought stopped you from becoming an entrepreneur, we want to remove that at Voxen. As simple as that. So that's the Voxen story. That's the curriculum. That's the passion with which we established the school. The founder himself is an entrepreneur, and he himself has struggled with all these issues. Sometimes lack of funding, sometimes lack of ideas, sometimes lack of good people to work with. And that's a huge problem, right, as many of you have seen. So his intention of starting Voxen was to help students, right, deal with all these problems inside one single place, so that by the time they get out, they have, or at least they have in theory, worked out all these different problems, and they're ready to go out and start a company. As simple as that. And that's basically the Voxen story. Questions? I'll give you more details, but I want you to ask me questions. I operate that way better. Like I can go for hours together, about the Trade Tower. Yeah. But I want you to ask me some questions regarding the Trade Tower or the
announcement.
No, just one second. I'm going to pass on a small response form that helps me keep you updated on the Sunday session. The Sunday session is at 11 o'clock.
So move to 11 now?
Yeah, it's at 11 o'clock. Same place, but at 11.
So give me the details, I'll do the announcement again before everyone leaves. Okay. So that's the Voxen story, and that's what we are excited about. I'm pretty sure everyone says this, but we truly mean that when we say this is a completely different kind of school, right? And that's why we did not even name it as a school of management. And the program itself is entrepreneur development.
Sir, how many of your students turned out as entrepreneurs after completing the course?
This is a new school, so we are starting our batch in 2014.
Okay.
Yes. So this is a new school. The batch will start in 2014. So I guess I can give you the answer within 1 year.
start thinking.
Questions?
How will you induct, I mean, you asked the question, but then it's thrown back at you. How will you induct students? How do you plan to do that?
So we have it's still an evolving process, right? Because it's so hard to define passion, for example. It's so hard to define what is a good idea versus what is a bad idea. At one level, we can say anyone who has money can come in, but that's not that's the worst thing to say, right? So what we have decided is there are some quality checks that we have to do. That means you have to have a minimum of an undergrad degree in any area, and then you have to be a good student in general. I mean, we're not expecting everyone to be, Einsteins and things like that. That's not the point of the school, right? But there are a few things that we want to do. One is we eliminated all the different kinds of essays that typical business schools ask. Okay? So we have just one essay. It's a very simple essay, which is tell us the story of your life. That's it. And how did you arrive at this point where you are submitting an application to Oxford? Because what we want to see through that is, are you capable or are you passionate enough to tell your story to others? Right? Because that is something that's very important, right? That passion, that zeal in life that you want to rub it off on other people, right? So we have that question, and through that we would like to see if it is possible to weed out passionate individuals. And then, we have interviews, we have presentations that will help us find out more about our prospective students. But one of the biggest criteria that we have, and we would try and do that in interview sessions, would be, do you have an idea that you want to take to the next level in terms of building a company? Because that's the whole point of Watson. Any more questions regarding Watson?
So it's a 2-year program.
1 year and 2 year.
All right. So 2 years would be part-time or while working, or is it?
No, they're all full-time. It's a massive campus that we're building.
Right.
So it will be a completely residential program.
Right. It will support families.
Yes, if you have a family, we can support that.
And the difference between the 1 year and 2-year programs?
So in broadly in terms of the curriculum,
Yeah.
right, it's a little bit similar, but the depth in which you go for the 2-year program is way more different, right? And then given the types of students who will come to the 2-year program versus the 1-year program,
Right.
the way we approach these topics are also different, right?
Sorry?
The way we approach these topics are also different.
Right.
For example, ideally for the 1-year program, students with at least 3+ or more years of experience for the 1-year program, right? And for the 2-year program, we're also looking at freshers who just come out of college but who still want to do something exciting, something different. So that's the difference. Similarly, you know that the 2-year program is much more relaxed, and versus the 1-year program, which is much more intense. So this is one of the differences. So what we are doing is we are actually giving the students a choice, right? They can take a look at the curriculum. They can talk to the professors and understand if they are fit for the 1-year program or the 2-year program. Because I have seen personally in my own experience, is there are students who are willing to go through the entire 2 years because they just want to spend more time on the campus. Some people are just bored of their corporate life, they just want to do something different. So even if they have, let's say, 5+ years of experience, they want to go through the 2-year program because it goes much more in depth, number one. But the second thing is, 1-year students, especially people with lots of experience, have that perspective, right? So they will be able to get into these topics much faster. Whereas 2 years, freshers will not have that maturity or the perspective. So we will take them through a different route in terms of, teaching them these different topics.
So are you pitching this course, internationally as well? Is it something you're looking at, or is it more catered towards?
It's more for here. We're also getting international students. At least it's open for international students, yes. But it's mostly for the Indian students. But slowly we will ramp it up and make it a more global program. So at this point, yeah, more Indian students.
So if it's an international, if you are expanding internationally, so international students can study remotely, or they have to come here and study?
They have to come to the campus.
They have to come here.
Yes, yes. So the international students would be also coming to the campus, be here, and then undergo the program. So this is not a remote program. Because the whole point of the campus is, You learn, then you try it out, and then you see if you can build something, right, a company, right? Eventually, you might end up failing in the trade tower, but that still doesn't matter. The experiences stay with you, right? And those learnings that you have picked up in the trade tower, because you're talking to mentors, successful entrepreneurs, and all those things, will help you everywhere. It doesn't matter whether you're creating a company or you're working in a corporate. So these skills are some of the basic fundamental skills that are needed for you to succeed, as simple as that. We are just creating that additional X factor that is required to become an entrepreneur.
Sorry, I have.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that's the whole point.
In terms of the faculty, I mean, very, very broad your brief. I mean,
Sure. So we have a very interesting mix of faculty, right? So I'm one. I don't know whether it's good or bad. So, and then the dean is a professor of strategy, right? And then we have Kunal Sood, who teaches leadership, and he runs the TEDx programs in the US. He's a very interesting guy. And then we are hiring one senior professor in economics, right? And then operations management, things like that, strategy, leadership. So we'll have a very solid group of resident faculty, right, who will be anchoring the program, who will be in the campus. So even the faculty will have residences inside the campus, right? And then we'll have a whole bunch of visiting faculty from different places. And now, then you'll ask me, okay, so everyone does that, so what's different? What we have tried to do is go outside the traditional business school boundaries, right? And see if we can pick up learnings, if we can pick up expertise from other places. For example, we have a course. Someone said one of the most important things is networking, finding the right people who can help you, develop your business, get funding, blah, blah, blah. How many of you are, when you go to events and things like that, how many of you are really scared of networking? Raise your hand. Or let me ask you, how many of you are really good at networking, where you can go into any room and make like 15, 20 friends, and by the time you come out, you have 15, 20 cards with whom you can call and then talk later and then get anything done? How many of you can do that? Well, you're a different man, so you don't count. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. How many of you can do that? Where you can confidently go into a room, make friends, and then get them on your side, see your side of the story. Not many, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who you are, which is good, one or two. But then that's a major, major issue. And there's a lot of research done, and one of the biggest issues for entrepreneurs is they are terrible networkers, right? Because they don't have the capacity to make friends. Even though they're genuinely nice people, and they are genuinely very communicative, they just freeze when they walk into a room of 100 people, as simple as that, right? So one of the courses which we are offering, which is an experiential module, is how to build valuable networks, as simple as that. We want to teach students how to build networks, and the person who teaches that is Laurie Madoff, right? Who is actually a networking consultant in the US. She works for Fortune 500 companies, and she basically coaches people to network, as simple as that. But that's a skill that is so hard to gain, and that is a skill that is so very important of becoming an entrepreneur, right? So what I'm saying is, these are the kinds of people that we plan to bring to the campus and talk to the students. These are traditionally not your business school professors. We do have business school professors from places like Kellogg and things like that who will come and teach, but we're also trying to go beyond the business school boundaries and see if we can get exciting people to talk to the students and teach them. So yes, simple thing to answer your question, a solid group of resident faculty here, right? And then a whole bunch of visiting faculty who will be collaborating with the resident faculty.
So sorry.
No, any questions? I love talking, so the more you let me talk, I'm happy, so go ahead.
No, I was wondering whether I should just come up and talk to you later, but no, I'll do this because it might benefit the others who want know some information. So in terms of the actual, not the grading, but how you judge people on their
Application?
yeah, not application. When you're in the school, right?
Okay.
Is it a mix of assignments and exams or?
Oh, you mean student evaluations once they're inside, okay. Dean, should I tell them about that we discussed? We're thinking of some crazy ideas.
Yes.
I ran it by
You should.
a guy called Rod Napier yesterday. I had a Skype call with him yesterday evening. Rod Napier is a very interesting guy. He's a 77-year-old guy who's an executive coach, a leadership consultant. He's a professor at University of Pennsylvania. Not in the business school, not at Wharton, but University of Pennsylvania. So we are trying to get him on board, at least help us, look at the curriculum and things like that. And
Yes,
maybe in the
agreed.
future, sorry?
He has agreed.
Yeah, he's agreed and he will come and teach. So his question was, what should I do for you? So that was one of the big questions, right? I told him what I and Dean discussed when we almost finalized V1 of the curriculum, version 1, right? There are two crazy ideas that we are dabbling with, and maybe you can tell us if it's good or bad. One is no textbooks. No textbooks in any course. The second one is no exams in any course.
I like that.
But don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that it's a cattle house and everyone who comes in goes out with a degree. This is not a degree mill. Okay, don't get me wrong. The idea is very simple. Okay, the reason why we don't want textbooks is, imagine a course like, let's say, strategy, right? The most idealistic scenario for a professor is prescribe a textbook, go through the chapters, and then give exams, and then whether the students pick up certain jargon or not, they're done. Very simple, right? That's what you've seen in all your all your life, all your courses, pretty much everything. What we want to see is something different. Can we look at the course from the eyes of the student? Given that here we are trying to develop an entrepreneurial skill set, is it possible to look at strategy from the eyes of a student and see what the student requires to become a good strategist, and then bring material into the classroom that will actually fulfill that vision of that student? As simple as that. So for that you don't need a textbook, because what the textbook does is it constrains your view in terms of making it too structured, in terms of chapters, things like that. Whereas we want to flip the model and see if we can look at it from a student's perspective. It's not an easy thing, right? I'm pretty sure the moment we hired the first professor and pitched this idea, he or she is going to throw garbage at us. I'm very sure of that. But then this is something that we want to push. Same thing with no exams. Given that we have so many exciting experiential activities happening in the school, and given that the trade tower is a central theme of the school, right? We don't want to end up in a situation where the last 10 to 15 days of every semester, students are just inside their dorms or hostel rooms as we call it here, studying and mugging for the exams, right? We want them to go out bravely and try out ideas. So for that, eliminate exams and see if we can create a continuous evaluation process where there's a good bit of learning in the classroom, which has to be tested obviously. At the same time, can the experiential modules help, right, build this evaluation process into a completely different game? So these are some of the crazy ideas that we're dabbling with.
No exams option.
Yeah. So something like that,
Can I
yes.
make some comments on these two ideas?
Yes.
They are in fact the fundamental basis of entire learning according to Indian Sanatana Dharma.
Right.
There were no exams because there is nothing to be told to another person because the learning is from inside.
Right.
So no exams.
Right.
And there would be what was the first one?
No textbooks.
No
No textbooks.
Because a person who is experienced, a living person is better than the sacred texts.
Right.
That is how, whether Smritis or Shrutis or whatever, a living person is better than any of the textbooks of the past, even if it has come from non-human origin.
True.
A living person is an example to be followed when there is a conflict between the sacred text and the living person.
Right.
Because a living person has experimented the text on himself and he has learned the wisdom. So that has to be passed on to the person. So when there is a conflict between the text, the living man is superior. That is one. The second one is, whatever you have learned, most of the things were taught by intuition. The method of intuition was used to teach. So the speech and the thought was not perfect means of communication.
True.
So the intuition level of a human being is increased so that he or she would perceive the truth by himself or herself.
Right.
So there are no textbooks. So these are the origins of Indian basic thought, Indian teaching
I think
methods.
it's a fantastic example of what we want to do, and that's
So I think
basically that's how we
since-
used to learn. See, when as kids, before we started going to the school, right? If you remember what we learned, it was through your mom and dad telling you stories. That's it. But it doesn't mean that we all became dumb people, right? There were no textbooks. Otherwise, the moment we were born, we would all start reading textbooks. But that was not the case. We learned, we became smarter because of storytelling. We became smarter because we watched our parents, we watched our friends, we watched our cousins do things, and we picked up these ideas. So, can we do that in a modern management school? I'll tell you 1 year later if I'm still alive. But please,
Is
yes.
it open for everyone or
Which one?
is it open for everyone? Or you want some evaluation system? Whom to take in, whom?
Is anyone
Age limit or yes, of course. Yeah. So as long as you meet certain types of criteria, yeah, the school is for everyone, absolutely. So the way we see it is the kind of skills that we provide. It doesn't matter where you are. You can own a company, you can build a company, you can still go to a corporate.
No, you
These
don't
are the
need
skills.
any kind of education or any kind of.
You need some basic. Need some basic education. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive in the program, right? Because you need some certain skills. But ideally, that should not be the case. But as I said, there has to be a quality check. That's basically it. Yes, please.
You said there are no textbooks, right?
Yes.
So you teach according to the student's perspective. So everybody's perspective is different from one another.
Right.
So explain me what is the class ratio will be. So the professor needs to understand what the student is thinking.
Right. So that's a challenge, and it's tough. That's why textbooks are so easy for professors, right? Because I just bring a textbook, everyone reads the same chapter, and it's standardized, right? But this model is actually tougher because that means the professor every semester, for example, has to truly understand what the students are looking for, and based on that, try and see if that can be provided in the classroom, right?
What will be the class strength?
So the 1 year program is 120 students, and the 2 year program 120 students. So that's the batch size. They'll be split into obviously multiple classrooms. So that will be the batch size for the first year. Yes.
Yeah, I joined the session late,
Okay.
but your trade tower concept sounds interesting.
Okay.
I have certain questions on that.
Sure.
First one will be, you told there will be levels
Yes.
to get the final level will be the funding part.
Yes.
So imagine one idea got screwed up in the fast fashion exam. Okay.
Yes.
So what will happen to that idea? Maybe that idea is very potential.
Right.
It has got a lot of potential,
Right.
but that will succeed after 10 years.
Sure.
It will succeed after 10 years. It's not the right time.
Absolutely.
It
So
can happen. So what are you going to do with those kind of?
if you have an idea, let's say, and let's say you went till the stage 3, or let's say stage 2, which is the business analysis and business planning stage, and after that you realize that the market is not ready for it, there's no enough potential for that product, right? And then you want to keep that dormant and then come back, right? You're still a Voxen alumni, right? You cannot take off Voxen from your resume forever. So we can welcome you back. You can 5 years later, if you feel that this is the time, you are more than welcome to come back to Voxen. Spend time only in the trade tower and then develop your idea. That's the way the trade tower is set up. The trade tower is linked closely to the curriculum. At the same time, it's an entity by itself which will have its own director and things like that. So if you think that your idea has legs 5 years later, you're more than welcome to come back, and Voxen will be more than willing to fund you if the idea is ready for the market. As simple as that.
So over time, what you will find is Dr. Pradeep used the word ecosystem, business ecosystem. You're always welcome back to Voxen. And Voxen's performance is going to be measured in terms of number of successful deals and number of successful exits. It's not number of jobs that we create. So the moment you join, you become part of Voxen. Okay? You complete the course, but you are always welcome back into the system. And for not only for startup, but also to sell your business and exit, or to strike a deal with the existing teams, anything is possible.
And one more question.
Sure.
Regarding this. It's a general human psychology question. As you said, people are told to play safe.
Told to what?
Play safe.
Play safe, yes.
And everybody does that.
Right.
Even everybody does that.
Yes.
So do you think a person will come back after 5 years for that plan which he planned 5 years back?
Sure. Everyone has dormant ideas.
But at that point of time, you will have certain responsibilities on him. Will he come back for his idea?
Yeah, you'll be surprised. You know, I don't know where you are in the stage of your life, right? But I know people who are making a lot of money, who are very successful in their careers, but they're at a point where they realize that they have to come out and do something on their own. That's a very common, in fact, most of the startups that you see are like that, where people have been in the corporate for a long time, and then at some point they want to come out, right? These are ideas that they might have had when they were in the college. These are ideas that they might have had when they were working in the corporate. But at some point they want to come out, because this is where we started our discussion. I guess that's what you missed. Being an entrepreneur is exciting. Being an entrepreneur is life-changing, not just for you, but for others. So we all have that in us. We all have that in terms of we want to do something different. Don't we all do that? The way we behave, the way we want to conform. At the same time, we want to see if we can make a difference. So that urge is what will bring you back. That urge is what will push you to do that something which is different. It doesn't matter what your responsibilities are. Many people do that. I've seen so many people who do that. It helps if you have a wife or a spouse who makes a lot of money, but you know, it still can happen. It still can happen.
And probably one could come with a new idea.
Right.
After 5 years. There is no limit for ideas.
There's no limit for ideas. I completely agree with that. Maybe that idea has gone away, but that spirit has remained. And the way we are building Voxen, you are never out of Voxen, right? Even if you don't come back with your own idea, you as alumni, we want you to come back and become mentors. We had a big discussion about mentors, right? The Trade Tower, right, will be full of mentors who are successful entrepreneurs, not just in India but abroad, US. These are people who have built billion-dollar companies or millions of dollars of companies, right? So these are people who have seen it, who have really struggled to get to that point, and these will be mentors. But it doesn't mean that these are the only mentors. If you are an alumni of Voxen, you always are welcome back, wherein you will share your experiences with the students who are currently there, because you never know where sparks fly, where ideas match. It's just a question of creating the right context, creating the right ecosystem, where people can meet, debate ideas, and see if they can take it to the next level. As simple as that. Thanks. So, just before, yes.
With regard to your trade tower,
Yes.
you had mentioned that it's a level process for incubating an idea. Now, say somebody has an idea but not had this opportunity of using a trade tower.
Sure.
What do you offer for those sort of people?
Can you?
Say for example, I have a friend there had an idea of starting a company with his friend.
Right.
Yeah. So he had that idea of contacting somebody, getting a business plan in process.
Right.
Yeah, but he didn't have this trade tower to incubate his idea and see whether it would be successful.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what would are you all looking at